Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this. Before we jump into today's episode, I have to share with you that on Thursday, September 8th, the doors officially open to my live 6-week experience / course called Money Magnet. The website is in the show notes. It's also barbiekalev.com/money magnet. It is going to be magic. If this is speaking to you, everything that we've been talking about, just head over to the link to look at the information. You'll see the testimonials, videos, information that will allow you to get all the details and the pricing and decide if this is an investment that you want to make in yourself. Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. I'm always so excited, but that's a good thing. Really, I am so excited because we are officially open for enrollment with Money Magnet. That is the final name of my live course. It is happening. It is starting on September 27th. So if you've been on the fence, it's time to jump on. Today, I have a very, very special guest, Jenn Grayda. She's actually a graduate of the first round of, it was called Become a High Money Magnet. So welcome, Jenn. I'm so excited to have you on.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to finally be able to express how much love I have for you, how much love I have for the value you invest into people. And I'm just so excited that you're doing this course again, because I wasn't sure if you were, because you said you weren't sure yet.
I wasn't sure. I was really open. But once the course ended, I just sat with it and just waited to have the feeling that, you know what, I need to do this again. And I'm just so excited, and I'm grateful that you're going to share with us. All right, you know what? Let's just jump in. In a tiny nutshell, Jenn, who are you? And I really mean in a tiny nutshell, so we can get right to the meat of the money stories and all the good stuff.
So in a tiny nutshell, I am a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 kids. I have a 17-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. So they're just all over the place. And it's a little bit hectic. I homeschool my daughter. We do beach body from home. We love to be outdoors. And I just love to do things that feed my soul, because I spent so many years doing things that made other people happy. So I'm just in the point of my life where I'm just like, you know what, I just need to do me. And I'm just so thankful that I found you, because I feel like you helped me do that.
Yeah. So why did you sign up for Become a High Money Magnet?
Okay. So Become a High Money Magnet first, I guess. Now is the 2.0 version is Money Magnet. But I went when you first asked me this, I think I came up with some deep answer, and I wanted the answer to be so deep because after talking to you, I felt such a deep connection to you when you explained things to me. But the honest truth, when I first just decided to sign up, is just because I really didn't have a good enough reason not to. I was just kind of going through a transition period in my life, and I didn't know it at that time. I didn't know I was going through a transition. I just felt a little lost, and it wasn't a depressing loss. It was just that I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something more. I just didn't know what it was. And I came to the realization that outside of being a mom, I really didn't know what I enjoyed doing anymore. And then you show up on my newsfeed, and I already knew I was going to sign up. I didn't know what the course was. I didn't know, I didn't even really know what manifestation or any of that stuff was. I was just Become a High Money Magnet. I don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure I want to be that. So I just signed up. It was kind of that I know you from your other networking business, but this new course, it was when a singer you love suddenly stars in a movie. And you're just well, I'm going to see the movie, of course. I love that singer. That's how I felt. I was she put so much value into the network you were in previous, or you're still in, but your other business, you put so much value and you invest so much time and effort into people that I was like, if she's offering something paid and it's not like a ridiculous amount, like I can afford it, it would just kind of be silly not to do it. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And I feel like when we've spoken in the past, I think that you've also said that it was just the energy. Whatever energy I was putting out there, you're like, I need some of that.
And I've always felt that about you, like from the start. And then it just started getting more intense. And I feel like it's because you were going through your transition period as well. And I was just like more and more drawn to you. You know, like I've always followed you, but not like religiously. Now it's what she's saying I need to know, because that's going to determine how my day goes. When your Instagram shut down, or when you lost the first Instagram you had, what do I do? And thank God I had the money magnet, like the recordings and stuff, because I just kind of went back to that. But
yeah.
I just want to say, like, even though the first time I signed up, it wasn't completely clear. It was like something that was drawing me to you. Something about you resonated with me. But now that your second one is coming out, like I know exactly why I'm signing up for that one. Like I know exactly, because I have a deeper understanding of what the course is going to be about. And I have seen your transition in such a short period of time. So at the bare minimum, I'm going to at least get what I got the first time. But I know it's going to be like on steroids. I'm over here just like counting down the days.
That is so wild. I mean, people must be like, wait, you're signing up again?
Oh, yeah.
And you and I are in touch. I mean, we've become friends, and I feel also very deeply connected to you. And you see that I'm continually growing. And the version of me today is already different than the version of me a few months ago. But let's go back to you. So you said that you were a little lost, and then boom, we have session 1 and we jump right into subconscious programming. That I love the way that you put it in this beautiful video that you made that I've shared in a previous podcast, where you said something like the money magnet was this thing where you go back to like I just got chills, when you were a child before you were told who you were. So here we are, session 1, we learn about subconscious programming and money stories. What happened? Because can I share something with you guys? If you're listening, obviously you're listening. Jenn is very verbal and you love to share, you love to express yourself, and you do so beautifully also in writing and in your podcast that I think you need to release. And when the woman that I met, it was like there was this wall that you weren't able to see yourself or talk about yourself. You were able to tell me how great I was and what you saw in me. But when it came to yourself, there was just this like wall. And then something happened and I saw it, and it was like the floodgates open. So if you can talk about all of that, whatever you want.
You know, in that very first session, I don't remember exactly what you said. We did a lot of inner child work, but I remember at one point, and with you, I feel like the words that come out of your mouth aren't even the lessons my heart is getting. And I feel your course, like the type of women you attracted was just mind blowing. Like it was magic. And so when you said, when we did inner work stuff, something in my head clicked. I mean, what you said, but something in my head was just like, I don't actually know who I am. Like, yeah, there's a wall because I was just building what everybody else was telling me to build. But if you took everything away from me, took away my kids, took away, and I don't mean in a way where I feel lack. I just mean if you deleted everything surrounding me and I just was alone in a field thinking about who I was, I didn't know. And that scared me. That was a really scary feeling. And when we started going back into inner child work, I didn't even know that was the thing, because people would call it like childhood trauma. And I didn't feel like I had childhood trauma. You know, like I had things when I was a child, but I didn't think it was anything traumatic. And so when I would think about my childhood, I thought it was irrelevant, because you'd always hear in personal development books like, don't look back, you're not going that direction, don't look to the past, you're not that person. And I never thought to look back to my childhood, because I'm not a child. So why would I look back that far? If I don't even want to look back to last year, why would I want to look back all the way to when I was a child? So that was huge for me. That looking back into my childhood and going through what actually built that block that you saw just had me taking the bricks down one by one, because I was like, this doesn't need to be here. This doesn't need to be here either. This doesn't need to be here either. Till at the end of the course, I could see over the wall. It wasn't completely down, no, but I could see over it. And I was like, why did I do this? Like, it's so beautiful out there. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful in here. I can't see out there and no one can see in here. And I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. And that's why your course was just so huge for me. Just with that first, if I had just done that one first session, I'd be good. I would be happy. So
I saw it. I literally saw it. It was, if you can imagine, there was like an actual brick wall and then it just wasn't there. And then you were just different. I don't want to necessarily talk about the childhood trauma, because you're right. I think in personal development right now, it's popular to talk about the trauma, and you're like, wait, I didn't go through this major stuff. But as I've said, your mother my aunt denying me a donut, and instead saying, no, your brother can have the donut because he's sick. That was traumatic. I felt rejected. And then, so it's not a big T trauma, it's a little T trauma, but our life is full of these little moments. So for you, I remember it had to do with what your parents or your family wanted you to be. So what were, I guess, your money stories or just your success stories or programming growing up?
So my parents, my mom and my dad both come from the Philippines, and they both moved to Canada. They weren't wealthy. We weren't poor, but we weren't wealthy, we didn't have a lot of money. So the money stories that I grew up with were just, you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible. So you can't buy things you want if you don't need them. So growing up, I just kind of always felt like it was like black and white for me. One day I would be like, well, if I buy myself something, then I'm selfish. And then for however many years, I didn't want to buy myself anything because I thought it was selfish, because I wanted it, I didn't need it. And then I would get to a breaking point where I was like, this sucks. I want stuff. And then I would just go ham, then I would just buy all the things thinking it would make me happy. Then I would spend all this money and have all these things and be like, why did I do this? I don't even want any of this stuff. The other one was...
So let me interrupt you there, because that is rebellion. So we get repressed. We're told you can't do this, you can't you do this, you can't you do this. And what happens when you resist something or you repress something, it's going to come out bursting out some way that is not quote unquote appropriate. And so that's what happened right there. So this is an example of a money or success programming that happened that was bursting at the seams. Okay. So the second example, or the second thing that happened.
I just want to say,
yes.
To extend on that, it's like, if you don't deal with those things, I think that's where all the hatred and the evil stuff in the world comes from. If you don't
yes.
deal with your demons, and you're going to explode. Luckily for me, I exploded and spent my money, which can be me back. But I mean, some people have some real deep-rooted issues. And so I think, starting with that inner child thing is huge. But so anyway, the second money story was that you had to have a good job. You had to go to university for someone to have the knowledge to teach you. I grew up thinking that the only people who could teach me something, a skill or something that would provide me with the money that I wanted or needed to survive, were people who were quote unquote educated, right, in university. And so it was always go to university to become a doctor or a pharmacist, or one of those high paying jobs. It wasn't go to university and do what you love. There's random little courses in university you take because you love, the subject, but it was no, go to university and become a lawyer, a doctor, a pharmacist, whatever makes the big bucks. And so that's what I thought I wanted to do. And I tried and I rebelled again. And I was like, nope, not doing this. Wasted all my money, dropped out.
I just had a light bulb moment. So when I met you through my course, that's when I discovered you. You knew of me, but I discovered you through the course, really. I think that's when something happened that you're like, oh, I rebelled. And so I'm going to be a failure. You actually, I remember you saying you actually made a decision So if I can't be a pharmacist or a lawyer, whatever it is that your family wanted you to be, then I choose to not even try at all. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I didn't want to be a failure. I wanted it to be my choice to fail. Like, I didn't want to try at something, and I knew I was going to fail because I didn't want to do it, right? When you don't want to do something, you can spend all your time doing it, but even if you finish it, you're still going to fail because you're not getting what you want. And I knew that if I had gone through however many years I needed to go through to finish university, I would have been a failure by other people's terms. If I just dropped out and was like, no, screw it, like, I'm not doing this, that would have been my choice. And I wouldn't have considered myself failure. I would have considered it a decision, or I do consider it a decision. And that was just like my, when you try to reason with yourself, you make a decision that you're not necessarily proud of, or you're scared what other people will think of it. And that was my way of reasoning. So every time I didn't want someone to think something bad of me or think I was a failure, I'd be like, no, I wanted that. I decided that. That was my choice. Because that was like me needing to be in control of everything.
You rejected being whatever it was that your family wanted of you. And so a lot of your energy, it seems, went on feeling that resistance and that resentment towards whether it's your family or yourself, but that energy wasn't being used to create something that was yours. Does that resonate?
It was misdirected.
It was misdirected.
It was for sure misdirected. I had a lot of urge and pull and longing, and I wanted these things, but I didn't know what they were because I was too busy taking other people's suggestions, right? And so when we did that inner child work, it was like I deleted everybody's suggestions, and I was like, I never actually sat there. And so many times, and you still do this to me, like you'll ask me a question and I don't even realize that I'm doing it. And I'll start talking about somebody else or you or something else, and you'll be like, no, that wasn't the question. I'm asking about you. And I was like, I started realizing that every time you'd say, no, you, Jen, no, you, I realized that my entire life up until now, I would say, like up until this year, until I took that course, I never asked myself anything about myself. I didn't know myself. I didn't even know what I liked. I knew who I liked to be around, and around these people, that's what they like to do, so I like to do it. And I knew that, I just think this is going to be completely off. I need to tell you this because I was thinking about it, but I realized there was a lot of women that I followed on social media because I thought I connected with them because of their lifestyle.
Stop.
Right? They had children. Like, you have your dogs, I don't have dogs. Like, you're a fur mom, but I felt like my life was more connected to them just because of how they had to go through their daily processes. And I would see like, oh my gosh, their kids have such beautiful rooms. They have pools and beautiful cars, and their clothes are matching. Their hair is perfect. Like that's what I want. Because like, I'm a mom, and how come I look like I'm wearing oversized t-shirts half the time? Sometimes I have to check if I'm wearing a bra because I want to go for a walk.
Oh my God, I have to tell you something. So yesterday I was getting dressed and I looked down and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not wearing any pants. And I was home. I was home, but I was going into the living room to do something. And I was like, wait, but I'm not wearing any pants. My point, and right before we started recording, you said something about something I was wearing, and then we started talking about my stains. So I see where this is going. Continue. That I think that I'm relatable. I don't know.
Yeah, no. So I realized that I followed them because I didn't want to be like them. I wanted the stuff they had. I was following them because I wanted to see their kids' rooms. I wanted to see their kids playing. I wanted to see the vacations they took their kids on. When I look at your social media, I know you have a beautiful house. I know you have beautiful stuff, but I don't see any of it. I really don't follow you, and I'm not like, wow, Barbie has a beautiful house and she has this. I follow you because of you. I connect to you, not to your stuff. And I realized that following people like that actually made me feel like I was lacking something. Following you makes me feel like I have something to give. It makes me find value in myself. Following people who I like their stuff makes me find value in their stuff. And it makes me feel like I'm lacking because I don't have that stuff. I don't have the value to get myself that stuff. Whereas when I follow you, I'm like, I'm valuable. I just have to decide what stuff I actually want.
Yeah, it makes very much sense to me because what I feel that what I'm sharing, both on social media and on the podcast and in the course, has to do with concepts and ideas about your inner self that will help your life improve, because I'm working that with my own life. And so it's funny that I struggle with the name money magnet, because it's that, but it's not that. So yes, when you open yourself up to self-love and welcoming abundance, then you can become a magnet for all the wonderful things. So what was your transformation in this course? Because in marketing, we're so used to seeing big promises. Become this and transform your complete relationship, make $1 million in 1 month. And I don't want to be that person, because that's just not true for 99.999% of the people. And so sincerely, what would you say was your transformation, or what were your biggest takeaways from the experience that we had?
I understood the process. I started to understand the process, and I started to see less value in tangible things, and I started to find more value in tangible things, because I started realizing that, like you struggled with the name money magnet, and I think it's just because people just have such a negative vibe around money, but it really isn't about money. It's just a currency, right? It's just a currency. And so when I started understanding it's just a currency, and yes, I can print it out on paper, I could print it out on my printer if I really wanted, but especially today, we don't even touch our money. We barely touch our money. So is it really tangible? Or could you offer something else of value? We're tangible and we're a currency, right? So I can offer something of value in exchange for something else that I see value in, or the currency. So I think the biggest shift in me was understanding that I was a product, if that makes sense. I had something to bring to the world, and I had something to add to the world. And by not adding it, I was taking from the world. And I used to think saying stuff like that was conceited or cocky or stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's if you could just add something to one person who will extend that to somebody else, and it's like that domino effect, then I think when I realized that, there was no stopping me, because I didn't need any of these tangible things. I didn't need cash in my hands. I didn't need a big screen TV. I just was what can I do to add value to myself? And once I realized that I didn't need money to buy things, I needed money to invest in myself. I needed value, currency, money, whatever you want to call it, friendships, whatever I needed for myself. Then I started looking for those things, and I started bringing those things into my life, calling them in, and it just was life-changing. So I think
it's so deep what you just said. And I've been trying to put that into words. I might have to actually go back and listen, because that's exactly what happened. I was listening to something that another student, Lacey, and her daughter, who also took my course, you had spoken, and then right after she said, what you taught us was a currency of being. And this is what I want the listener to know. Once you understand how valuable you are, and that you can share, like you just said, Jenn, your gifts with the world. Number one, you said it. You realize that I don't actually, quote unquote, need the tangible things. But then also money becomes a byproduct of what you give and you provide to the world. And then the floodgates open, because you're not coming from a place of need. You're just coming, the money can flow in if you choose, and you can choose these beautiful experiences. You want to go to Disney with your kids and not have to worry about a penny. That doesn't mean that you're selfish or materialistic. You've put out services to the world. You've put out wonderful energy to the world. Money's coming to you, period. And so you are a magnet. So what becomes important is you, not the money.
Yes, exactly. And that's why Money Magnet, I love that name, because it's not money, but people understand the word money, right? Without having to go through all the different currencies and you need this, you need. When someone hears money, they just pay attention. That's just how it is. And so when you talk about Money Magnet and you realize that I am the magnet, I can attract money, currency, this. As soon as I figure out how to magnetize myself or what I actually want to attract, because you could also be a magnet to the wrong things, right? You could also magnetize debt. You could magnetize bad relationships.
Well, people are magnetizing that stuff all the time. And we talked about that. We're constantly manifesting. It's just that people don't realize how powerful they are and how powerful their thoughts are and what things they're affirming in their lives every day. So absolutely, you are the magnet. And so now we have to determine like, okay, well, what do I actually want to call in? You know what? Who is this course for? Because I have my ideas of who I think the course is for, but who is this course for? In your humble opinion, or not humble?
The easy answer would be for me to say everyone. The course is for everyone, but I think you have to be at a certain level you have to have a certain level of belief or wanting, because otherwise you're just going to do that doesn't work, and it's not going to work. You don't think it's going to work. So I think this course is for people who know there's something,
yes,
but just aren't sure. They just aren't sure, right? I wasn't ready for the deep dive into all the woo stuff. Of course not, right? I needed to start somewhere. You know, when your child starts to move, they roll before they start running. They roll before they walk. And so this is like the step in, I would say, for someone who wants to get there. But also at the same time, if you already have that understanding, you can take whatever you want out of it. Like I can go back to those recordings, and I do. And every single time, I kid you not, there's something new. I learned something new because it's like I'm a new person. I learned something new, and then I can't go back, right? Like once you learn something new, you can't go back. You cannot, no matter what you want, no matter how hard you try, you cannot go back to the person that you were yesterday, because you learned things, you've had experiences that have just completely changed you. And so I can't go back. And every time I go watch a recording of the previous sessions we've had, I learned something new. And I learned something new again, and I learned something new again. And I could probably watch it 10 years from now and be like, what? How did I miss this? And so I think this course is perfect for a person who wants to get their foot in and just really just find themselves and know themselves, because that's so important. And then for the person who already knows themselves, it's to just level up, I would say. Like if you want to level up, then this is the course. If you want to be in a container filled with like powerful women, like I learned a lot from you, but let's be real, I also learned a lot just from the stories that these women would tell. They weren't trying to teach me anything. They were literally just saying what they felt, and that alone was powerful. So it's not just your teachings that I got from this course. I think you're someone who needs to be surrounded by good energy. If you're surrounded by, like if you're in a place in your life where your friends have limiting beliefs, your parents, or you're just like, I don't know if I agree with them, then get yourself into a place where you agree with the people you're talking to. Because one of you isn't going to change all your family and all your friends' minds. So they're probably going to change yours, and which is what happened to me, right? Like I allowed other people to change my mind. And so once I put myself in a setting with women, the women that you called in, that you attracted, and I put myself in that setting, it was like, like lightning bolts coming between us. Just like if someone could visualize or make a visual of the energy going on in those groups, like, and we all live in different places in the world. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You have to experience it to really understand what you're saying. But I used to think that when you buy a course, so this is 6 weeks, I wind up usually extending it, but let's say it's 6 weeks officially right now, you're not paying per session, X $100 per session. You're paying for the container, the energy, the community, the wisdom, not only, as you said, that's coming from me and the teachings that are coming from me, but the collective energy. Jenn, you were such a powerful activator for so many of the women. When you would speak, I would see the other women get activated. It was just electric. And that happened with the other members. It was really magical. So finally, our last question, what would you say, I think you already said it, but what would you say to someone that's on the fence? Because, they might be on the fence or like, this is an investment, times are this or that.
Well, you can either stay on the fence or you can go back to where you were. And if you were happy with where you were, then go back. But if you weren't, then you might as well see what's on the other side of the fence, because it's not comfortable on the fence. And you were obviously on the fence because part of you wanted to do it. So you might as well just do it, because really you have nothing to lose. You really don't. And I say this because I've done other courses and they were amazing courses, but they were like list courses, like do this, do this, do this. And then I would find myself going through the list, and then there would come a part where I was like, well, I don't want to do that. And then I wouldn't do it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And then I wasted my money on the course, not to say it wasn't a great course.
Yes.
I just didn't want to do what was on the list. Whereas here, I was provided a safe space to speak. I was provided support and understanding, and I was taught how to make my own list. So I made my own list. I made my own course for myself. And I think that was so powerful. And I forgot what the question was because I went on a tangent.
No, I'm so glad. That was perfect, because that's really what I would say sets this course. Because it's not even it's a course, because you actually get the how-to, and not a list, but these are the steps to manifesting and creating abundance. But it's beyond that because of the coaching that goes on. And I know, I'm confident, and I know that that is my gift. It's the mentoring that happens within this space that is my gift. So I saw that happen with you. I saw that happen with others. So thank you. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say, Jenn, before we wrap up?
What makes it so exciting is that that's your gift. And I think that's what makes the course so powerful, is that it's so customized. Personal development is amazing, but you have to do it every day for it to work. You have to wake up every single morning and read something that's going to motivate you, right? Because you have to create the motivation, but you create like inspiration, right? Motivation can be created anytime, but I feel like inspiration has to be like right time, right place, right people. Like it makes no sense. Motivation makes sense because it's like, okay, like I want to be motivated to work out, so I'm going to watch a workout video, or I'm going to watch someone in the type of shape I want to be in, right? Inspiration just means you walk into a room and you're just like, all of a sudden you have this idea and this idea. And that's how I felt the container you created was. I felt like I walked in and automatically it was like inspiring because of the women that you called in. And I think that's the most exciting part for me personally about the second round is I'm sure there will be alumni. I'm sure there will be people who I'm like, hi again. But the new people coming in, I'm like, what are they bringing? And I know that the way that you're going to run this course is you're going to direct it according to the women. So once I find out who else is in the course, I'm like, what is she going to tell us? What is she going to teach us? Where are we going? Like, I have a general idea. I know the basic point you're going to talk about, but like all the extra nooks and special things that you bring always, I have goosebumps just thinking about it. I'm like, I'm already because I'm like, okay, so I thought here I thought I was starting next week, the 8th, but that's not when it starts. That's just when it opens, like the part opens. I'm like, no, this time. So
yes, and I have no idea who is going to be in the course either. And thinking about the first day when we open up the Zoom and I see all these beautiful faces, some of whom, I mean, I may not know. I know I'll see your face. I know I'll see a few other faces that I know. But that's the wonder. And you're absolutely right. It is going to be customized because I know if you believe in God, the universe, like we are brought together for a divine, purposeful reason. And it's going to be amazing as you'll see how there are so many commonalities, and I teach according to, I teach according to what I sense, what I feel, what is present in the room. And so it's going to be magic squared.
Especially all the stuff you've been doing on your own, like your own personal journey, like the stuff you've invested in yourself to learn and grow, like that's going to naturally come out. So I'm over here like, I know how much you've invested in yourself, and I'm just over here like, okay, well, I get to pay what, a 20th of what she paid to learn all the things that she's learning from other people.
1,000 or something, because I can't tell you how many. I mean, that's what I do with my time. My time is spent learning, reading, and just right now it's been like this for a few months, just preparing for what's coming next. Thank you, Jenn. I feel like you and I could share forever, but thank you so much for sharing so openly. It's really my honor to be a part of your journey and to have witnessed this beautiful transformation. And whoever's going to be in the next Money Magnet is going to get such a treat getting to be in your company as well, Jenn.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. I can't even. And I'm so thankful for you, and I'm so thankful for the work that you do and in yourself. Like, I'm so thankful that you work so hard at yourself, because we reap the benefits of it, right? And so you put in all that effort to help us, and it's just, you do such great work, and you have such a huge heart, and I just love you so much. So much. I don't even have the words. Like, I could shout from the rooftops that if there is somebody that wants to do this course, or even just like I wonder what this is, like, just do it. Really, 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 just do it. Like, if you don't have a good time, you can come find me and you can like scream at me, but I know. I know. But it's going to be amazing. I know the type of women you attract. I know the type of woman you are. And like, I'm just ready to party. Like, it's going to be so fun.
Yes. A heart and mind and soul party. All right. So the link to the course is in the show notes. You can feel free to send me a message. I'm going to put Jenn's Instagram so you can follow her, because she has great content as well. And that is it. I hope to see you in the course very soon, and I will see you on the next podcast. Did you love that episode or what? Make sure to leave me a review, and let's connect over on Facebook in Your Empowered Life community. I'll see you next time.